Welcome everybody. It is town meeting day here in Vermont, a day a lot of us have been waiting for. We have got about 30 cities and towns that have got the question of retail cannabis on the ballot. We're gonna find out later tonight how many of those towns are gonna be selling legal THC cannabis in the next 1 to 20 years. All that and more, including your questions, what's happening in your town, coming up on the Vermontawana Political Breakdown right now. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that everybody has been happy, healthy, managing during all these crazy times. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been farming up in the Northeast Kingdom. That's where I'll be for the immediate future. A lot of chickens, a lot of cannabis, a lot of hemp. It's been a great time, but I'm really excited to get back to doing more events, doing more media, doing more updates. I've got an event coming up May 29th, the first Vermontawana plant and seed swap. I'm gonna invite 100 people up to the farm in Irisburg. We're gonna have some killer genetics there. So save that date because I can't wait to see all of you people in person. So in the meantime, let's get down to business, clear up a little bit of the smoke here, talk about Vermont politics, Act 164. This was passed in the fall, and this allows the sale of cannabis products to people 21 plus. The first thing to say is that the process has been totally fucked. Not really a huge surprise to me or a lot of other people, but we need to have a commission to be formed, and then they need to lay out the rules. We can't even argue about those rules yet because this commission's not formed. Now this commission, which doesn't exist yet, is supposed to issue their first report April 1st. That ain't gonna happen, folks. So we are at best 3 months delayed, at worst 6 months to a year delayed. Now this is what's happened in every other state. Usually it's arguments about the actual policy. In Vermont, it's really just been the governor sandbagging, the legislature being busy. There's a lot going on. Maybe you guys have heard. So some good reasons to delay, some bullshit reasons to delay, but we're really delayed. So that's the first thing to know. Now, one thing about the law is that cannabis businesses are allowed by default. So cultivation, manufacturing, testing labs, wholesaling, right? These are allowed by default per the law, but you still need to get your local zoning approval, right? So they can't outright ban you, but they can zone you wherever they want. Now, retail, the sale of cannabis products over the counter, that is only allowed in towns that opt in. They need to have a public vote where a majority of citizens says, yes, we want to allow the sale of legal cannabis products in our town. So today, town meeting day, is the first opportunity to have that vote as part of a regular political activity, but it's not the last. This vote can happen anytime. So if your town is not voting on it now, a vote could happen in May, it could happen in June, July, next year at town meeting day, year after that. Right now, that vote can happen anytime. So with that said, we've got about 30 different cities and towns that have this question on the ballot. And I am going to go through in 4 different categories based on most likely to least likely to pass and go through each and every single one of these towns. So let's pull up the map, which is on vermontawana.com. You can click around and check this out yourself. Let's pull up the map and let's start with our green cities and towns. Now these ones are green because I am fairly certain they're gonna pass. Middlebury, Brandon, Brattleboro, Burlington, Winooski. These cities all have a local 1% option tax. So they already have a tax incentive. They're gonna get cannabis revenue on day one. Montpelier, they have an existing medical dispensary. So those 6 towns, politically, they're big cities. Politically, they're into it. There's economic opportunity. They're gonna get tax money right off the rip. So I feel very confident that Middlebury, Brandon, Brattleboro, Burlington, Montpelier, and Winooski are all going to be a hard yes. I feel like 90 to 95% confidence on that. Our next group of towns. These are the orange cities and towns. And these are ones where I feel pretty confident, but I need to leave a little bit of room for error here. So I feel about 75%, 65 to 75% confidence of a yes vote in these following towns. Sutton and Lindenville. These are up in the Northeast Kingdom. Lindenville's kind of the gateway, very close to Burke. Sutton, tiny town with some cool properties. Big shout out to Off-Piste Farm. Jamaica, down in the southern part of the state near Stratton. They're gonna vote on this in March 24th, not town meeting day, but I think they're gonna say yes. We'll see how the vote goes, what their neighbors say, but Jamaica also probably a yes. These next 4 are central Vermont, kind of near ski areas. Waitsfield, Duxbury, Richmond, and Waterbury. So if you're at exit 10, you're either going to Stowe or Sugarbush, you're either gonna go through Waterbury or through Waitsfield and Duxbury. You've also got Richmond, which is part of Chittenden County, and also has a lot of people from Bolton Valley coming through, and just kind of a really cool scene. So I feel pretty confident they're all going to say yes, based on the opportunities there. And I could see, people want to be near the ski areas. Our next two in the orange, our last two, Bennington. I feel pretty confident in Bennington. They've got active constituents. Senator Sears has been really involved. And they've got a downtown that needs some help, but not quite sure about the politics. There's been resistance. Medical didn't go great. So I'm not totally sure, but I'm pretty confident in Bennington. I'd feel pretty good about that one. And then Barton, also up in the Northeast Kingdom. Cool town, the home of Northeast Kingdom hemp. The Devereaux have been amazing stewards of the cannabis community. But it's a small, rough, hard-ass town that's had some hard times. So it's a great place for cannabis to maybe make some improvements, but politically, not quite sure. So those orange towns, I feel pretty good about those. At least 65% certainty of a yes. Now these pink towns, it's unfortunately a different story. Fortunately, there's only 4 of them. But what these 4 towns have in common, and why I think they are the least likely to pass, is that they've all got very active police forces who have actively opposed cannabis reform. In the case of Newport, which is the furthest north, aka Newport, Newport's actually banned cannabis previously, whether it was medical and even before. So some of these towns are desperate, but they haven't liked cannabis in the past. They've got police who have been adamantly opposed, and I'm just not sure if the politics are there. So the 2 in the Northeast Kingdom that I'm not sure about, I mentioned Newport, aka Newport, and St. Johnsbury. Big academic center there, awesome art scene, but I don't know if the politics is ready. They got some rough downtown opiate issues that have come around, city on the rise, but I don't know. Vergennes, their police department's been adamantly opposed for better part of a decade. They are not like the rest of Addison County and like it that way, but they've got a great little downtown and would really kick ass. And I know they've got some motivated activists. So Vergennes, I feel like of these 4 could go yes. And then the last one is Berlin, Central Vermont agricultural community. It's just a little too close to Barrie and to Governor Scott and to a lot of good old boys and conservative folks who probably didn't like legalization, might not quite be ready for that. So those 4 pink towns, I wish you the best. If Newport votes yes, we find out about this, huge coup. I hope that I'm wrong, but these are the 4 I'm most concerned about. Now, the other towns, they're blue towns. These are smaller localities where, to be honest, I just don't know enough about the local politics there. I think there's probably small groups of either officials or entrepreneurs who are pushing this forward, but I don't know what the rest of your town thinks. And it's probably only gonna be 400 or 500 votes in all of these. So those towns, I'm just gonna list them out in no particular order. They have it on the ballot, that's positive. Brownington, Pownell, Salisbury, Paulet, Danby, Danville, Peacham, Randolph, and Stratford. Again, these are all tiny towns. If I was gonna bet on one of them, I'd bet on Danville because I know how hard Sam has worked, but I don't know enough about your local politics to make a super educated guess. Optimistically wanna say yes for about half of them, but just not quite sure. So that's what we know. I wanna give a big thank you and a big shout out to Vermont Cannabis Solutions, Vermont Growers Association in particular, for doing a lot of work compiling this. I've been watching your pages, reading your newsletters. Thank you all for doing grassroots work and helping to compile this info. Again, cities and towns we might have missed, let us know, but props to you all. So that's it and that's all from here. I've had a great time. It's great to check in with you folks again. I hope to see a lot of you up in the Northeast Kingdom, May 29th at the Vermont-Awana Plant and Seed Swap. In the meantime, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be happy, be healthy, be safe. And until next time, elevate the state.